After saving Mabel's life from that horrible fate, Pacifica and Mabel were getting along much better. They even did a lot of things together, like swimming with dolphins, fishing, collecting fruit, and building stuff. Dipper one morning woke up to the sound of Wendy laughing. She was very active in the morning. Dipper smirked as Wendy tickled him by surprise, sending Dipper to the ground. Wendy! Stop that! Dipper laughed as Wendy tickled him. Then she grabbed his hat and smirked. Hey, that's my hat, Wendy! Dipper laughed. If you want it, you gotta catch me first, Wendy chuckled. Then she switched from her lumberjack hat to her husband's hat. As Wendy took off, Dipper put on the lumberjack hat and laughed. Then he got up to chase Wendy. He was chasing Wendy all over the hut and near the shore, laughing as the both were having fun. Pacifica and Mabel both laughed as they watched the couple chase each other. They were glad to see them having fun. They'd rather argue than like teenagers. As Wendy ran off with Dipper's hat in the sand, Dipper ran after his wife. Hey, come back here with my hat, Wendy. I'll take a switch to you. Dipper laughed loudly, then caught up to Wendy and pinned her to the sand. I got you now. Wendy laughed as Dipper pinned her to the sand. He laughed along with her. Dipper, get off of me! Wendy laughed while smiling. Say, Dipper's a loyal person. I dare you, Wendy, Dipper said, smirking. No, Wendy chuckled while laughing. Say it, Wendy. You know it, Dipper replied. Dipper's the loyal person, Wendy said. Smartest person, Dipper replied, making Wendy say the things that Dipper is. Smartest person, Wendy repeated. Handsome one on this island, Dipper said, making Wendy repeat what he said again. Handsome one on this island. Now you can have your hats back as I have mine back, Wendy replied, handing Dipper his hat as he handed her lumberjack hat back to Wendy. It's true about me, Wendy, and you've known me ever since our teen years. Dipper kisses Wendy as he gets off of Wendy, pulling her back up. Nice to see them having fun as lovers, Mabel sighed, watching her brother and sister-in-law from the hut with Pacifica. They sure are perfect together, although I did somewhat like him, but I respect that he's with Wendy. I kinda did have a crush on him for a bit, but I didn't know if he felt the same about me, Pacifica wondered. I think he just did like you, just not your attitude at times, Mabel answered. That's something I'm gonna have to work on. I just feel like I like girls and guys. I'm bisexual, as I kept that a secret for a long time, Pacifica said. Oh, why didn't you tell me? Mabel asked. Or tell Dipper? I didn't know if you hate me for it. I have been hiding this for a while now, Pacifica explained. I'm bisexual as well. I kept it a secret for a while because I don't know how people would feel about me, Mabel said as Pacifica hugged her friend. Don't worry about it. Who cares if some people hate us for being bi? It's our right, Pacifica replied, kissing Mabel. What was that about? Mabel asked, confused that Pacifica kissed Mabel. Oh, sorry, Mabel, I was wondering if you wanted to be my girlfriend, Pacifica asked. Sure, Pacifica. I really like you, as more than just a friend, Mabel answered. Even though I regret being mean to you many years ago, I really liked you too. More than just a friend, Pacifica replied, as the two kissed each other. Meanwhile, in the jungle, Dipper and Wendy were running and playing as they went through the jungle. Dipper then jumps into the water hole, and that was pretty huge. Wendy stopped on the edge, looking for Dipper. Just when she crouched down near the water hole, Dipper grabbed Wendy and pulled her into the water with him. As Wendy swam up to the surface to breathe, she laughed as Dipper followed. You jerk! Wendy laughed loudly, splashing Dipper playfully. Who's the jerk for splashing me now? Dipper chuckled. Then he splashed Wendy again, playfully. As soon as they swam for a while, they played in the water. Dipper got out and started to run off. Wendy got out and followed Dipper. Soon the two both fell on top of a nest of leaves, laughing so hard that their ribs may hurt. I love you, Mason. You're super funny. I'm so glad to be married to you, Wendy smiled as she looked at Dipper. Same with you, Wendy. I love you too, Dipper replied, cuddling up close to Wendy. Something was up in Dipper's mind for a while. Ever since they got married, Dipper had been something to ask Wendy. Wendy, I have something that I've been wanting to ask for a long time, Dipper began. Ever since we've been together, I was wondering if you were ready for it. Ready for what, Dipper? Wendy asked, confused as to what Dipper was talking about. I was wondering if you're ready to try for kids, Dipper asked. I mean, I understand if you want to wait a little longer. It's just, kids has been something that's been on my mind for a long time. Are you kidding me? Wendy asked, sounding excited. Of course I want to have kids with you, dude. Even if we're still on this island. We could start now if you want, as there's no one around here. Sure, Wendy. I'm up for it, Dipper replied, kissing Wendy as the two were gonna go at it together. Meanwhile on shore, Pacifica and Mabel were both fishing on their lifeboat. They had found the perfect fishing spot to fish. Pacifica looked around and wondered where Dipper and Wendy were. I wonder where the two lovebirds are now, Pacifica asked, using her fishing rod and cast it into the water. They're mostly doing stuff that couples like to do, like hugging and kissing, Mabel began, then paused to think for a second. I do remember Dipper talking to me about him and Wendy trying for kids. Trying for kids? Pacifica asked, almost falling overboard over that statement Mabel made. You mean Dipper and Wendy are finally gonna get it on? Pretty much, yeah. So it's no surprise that they would go into the jungle for privacy to do that, Mabel replied, as Pacifica felt something caught on her line. I got a bite! Help me, Mabel, Pacifica instructed, as Mabel helped Pacifica reel in the fishing line. As the girls reeled in the line, they caught a fish at the end of the line, and it was a really big fish. Whoa, that's the big fish you've caught, Pacifica. What kind is it? Mabel asked, seeing how big the fish was by the looks of it, and on the end of the line. It's a salmon, I believe, Pacifica answered, and I didn't just catch one, but two of them. This dinner's going to be a big one, Mabel said, but then she looked around and saw something drifting on the sea. She could see that there was something about 15 feet away from the boat, so Mabel dove into the water to fetch it that was 15 feet away from them. Once Mabel got what was drifting out to sea, she can also see that there was a towel. It was a long and wet one, so she thought it would be something perfect for them. As Mabel swam back, Pacifica helped her girlfriend back on board the boat. What did you find? Pacifica asked her girlfriend. I saw whatever it was too, and you swam to it. It's a towel. It must have been lost on another island or something, Mabel replied. We could find some use for it. That is true. We'll head back to shore and get started on dinner, Pacifica nodded. Then they headed back on shore on the lifeboat. When Dipper and Wendy both returned from the jungle, Pacifica looked up to see her fair friends returned. You're back! Awesome, Pacifica said, greeting her friends back. We found something weird, Wendy said, showing Pacifica a human skull that was dirty. Yikes! Where did you find it? Pacifica asked. We didn't go to the forbidden part of the island. Dipper and I found it on our way back, Wendy answered honestly. That's good. I was afraid that you and Dipper went there, Pacifica sighed in relief. We didn't, and we were honest about this, Dipper reassured Pacifica. Anyway, what's for dinner? Well, you're in luck. I caught 2 large salmon to have for dinner. Mabel is gonna help me cook it, Pacifica replied. Then Wendy ran off into the water by the shore, going swimming. Hey Dipper, let's go swimming before dinner, Wendy suggested, catching her husband's attention. I'll be there, Wendy, Dipper called to her. Then he turned his attention to Pacifica. Awesome, that means more dinner. Dipper, after he said that, he ran after Wendy to swim with her in the ocean. As they were swimming, they watched underwater at the pretty fish and the other animal life at sea. Wendy even found a crab and used her hunting knife to catch it, without risking herself getting pinched by the creature. As soon as the couple returned to the island, Mabel was making something out of the things they used to survive. Of course, at first Dipper and Wendy were confused, but upon inspecting what Mabel was making, they saw that it was a large fishing net. "Is that a fishing net?" Wendy asked Mabel. "Yes, I'm making it so we can catch fish faster," when Mabel replied. "It's strong enough to hold fish." "That looks great, Mabel. It will be very helpful," Dipper said, as Wendy took the crab she caught earlier and broke the legs off to cook it. "Wendy caught a crab earlier, and we have crab legs for dinner." "I haven't had crab legs since the cruise ship," Mabel stated, feeling sad again. "Why do you feel sad, Mabel?" Dipper asked his sister. "I am just homesick. I miss Gravity Falls," Mabel sighed sadly. "I do too, Mabel." "Help will come soon, I hope," Dipper replied, feeling homesick as well. "Do you think our friends will find us? Or have they given up?" Mabel asked 2 questions. However, Dipper couldn't figure out what the honest answer really is. "I'm not sure how to answer that honestly, that question, Mabel. If they haven't given up, I am assuming they're still looking for us," Dipper answered. "I do miss our friends there. They're like our family at home." "What if they think we're dead?" Mabel asked. "I don't think our friends would give up that easily. Knowing them, they'll find us," Dipper replied. After dinner was served, everyone ate the salmon that Pacifica had caught while fishing. As they were finishing up the salmon, they also had some crab legs that Wendy had cooked from the crab she caught. Dinner was really filling as usual, so everyone had a good sleep. 2 weeks later, help still hadn't come to rescue Dipper and his family. They were still waiting. Wendy had begun to eat more and more food than usual. At first they thought that she might have been craving certain stuff, but Dipper knew that it couldn't really be the case. Could it? Mabel and Pacifica spent more time together on the island, as Wendy and Dipper do the same. Sure, once a week, they would visit Grunkle Stan's grave to talk to him every now and then. Mainly about how they're doing, and even say that they miss him a lot, etc. One night, while at dinner, Wendy was eating more than usual, and that's when Mabel and Pacifica and Dipper took notice. "Wendy, why are you eating more after dinner? You usually don't eat this much," Pacifica asked. "Not sure. I just have this feeling that I'm craving something," Wendy replied, eating the bananas that she found earlier. "I hope you're okay and you're not sick," Pacifica stated, still worried for Wendy a bit. The next morning, Dipper woke up not seeing Wendy sleeping beside him. At first, he thought that Wendy went out to get some food or something. He then turned to his falcon friend to see if he could help. "Where's Wendy?" Dipper asked. Spock flew to the window ledge as Dipper peeked from it to see he could find Wendy. When he saw Wendy by the rocks of the ocean, vomiting, as he could hear her coughing and gagging. Dipper could tell that Wendy wasn't really feeling well, but he wondered if it was the flu or something much worse. Mabel and Pacifica noticed and saw how sick Wendy was, even while walking back towards the hut. "What's the matter, Wendy?" Mabel asked. "Not sure. She was puking just a minute ago," Dipper answered. "Maybe it was something that she ate," Pacifica suggested. They asked Wendy if she was okay when she walked back to the hut. However, Wendy said that she wasn't sure, so they had to wait for a few months. However, it has been a few months since that day Wendy was sick. Wendy was sitting in her and Dipper's room one night. Mabel and Pacifica were there too. Seeing Wendy's stomach was starting to show, her baby bump at that moment. Dipper and Wendy's wish had finally came true. They both wanted to start a family together for a long time, and their wish had finally come true. Ever since Wendy missed her time of the month a few months ago, she had a feeling that she was pregnant, and that turned out to be the case. As she showed the signs of pregnancy while stuck on the island, Mabel and Pacifica were excited to be aunts of Wendy and Dipper's child. As Dipper was more than happy to be a dad in the coming months. "Wendy, are you okay?" Pacifica asked. "Yeah, I'm okay," Wendy replied. "We're just checking on you. Want some crab legs for bedtime snacks?" Pacifica asked Wendy. "Sure, that'd be great," Wendy thanked Pacifica. Then she held someone to someone to thank crab legs. But Dipper and Mabel sat beside Wendy. "You're excited to have this baby?" Mabel asked. "Yeah, I'm nervous as well. What if I'm not a good mom?" Wendy replied, asking herself that question. Having kids is something that I've gotten mixed emotions on. Like, what if I'm not a good mother? "You'll be a good mother, Wendy. I see that in you," Dipper reassured his wife. "You've wanted a child ever since we got married, and we are today. Even if we're stuck on the island, we can raise a child here. You'll have mine and Pacifica's help, and when we return to Gravity Falls, we'll raise a child there," Mabel added. "If you and Dipper place your hands on my tummy now, you may feel the baby move," Wendy said, taking Dipper's hand and placing it on her belly. Mabel placed her hand on there as well, as they felt movements inside. "I felt it move," Dipper said, smiling at Wendy. "I felt it too," Mabel added. "There, I felt it again," Dipper said, making Wendy tear up. "I can't wait to meet my niece or nephew, along with Pacifica," Mabel replied. "I'm hoping it's a girl, but I'd be fine if it's a boy. What matters to me is that the baby is healthy, and I just want my baby to be born healthy and not sick," Wendy stated, smiling at her husband and sister-in-law.